Did you just get into the 2x KO alpha, finish the tutorial, and jump into a match, only to get hit by this? Or this? Or a ton of these? Yeah, that was me 3 days ago. It's a little past the halfway point of the 2x KO alpha, and yesterday they announced their last wave of codes. And because there's probably going to be a lot of people who are having their very first day in the game, I wanted to make a quick video going over how to punish and block certain moves. Now, this is going to be a very basic guide. Once people start involving their tag partner, moves can become harder to punish or be safe entirely. I'm just going to talk about how to punish these attacks by themselves, because I've seen a lot of people get hit by them, even people who've played since the start of the alpha. And if it helps at least for one person to defend better, then it makes making this video worth it. Okay, now let's begin. Number 1, Yasuo Sweeping Blade, or Charged Forward S1. We'll just start off with one of Yasuo's cross-ups. And just in case people don't know what a cross-up is, a cross-up in fighting games is when a character uses a move that you will have to block in the opposite direction. An easy example of this is if you're the blue Yasuo. You have to hold right if the red Yasuo does an aerial attack in front of you. If he does a cross-up, you'll have to switch to holding left. So Yasuo's Charged Sweeping Blade is a cross-up, so if you ever see him in this animation for a while, prepare to hold the opposite direction. If you block it, he is very vulnerable, so feel free to use a move that reaches him to punish him. And by the way, if he charges this raw and you aren't sure if it's going to cross up or not because you don't know if he'll be in front of you or behind you, always hold the other way, because despite how flashy this attack is, he has 0 hitbox in front of him, like he's shooting the opposite direction, completely missing what's in front of him, just like my teammate Yasuo's in the actual League of Legends. Here's a few more notes. Some of his moves have cross-up protection, which means you can hold any blocking direction and it will auto-block the cross-up. For example, if he charged forward S1s when you're in the corner, he will cross up, but you can block either direction and it's fine, and you can tell because of the protected sign. This also applies to his forward S1 Rekka, where his third button crosses up. You can just hold back the entire time and you'll be fine due to cross-up protection, no matter how long he delays the last hit. This is also punishable, by the way. But again, most Yasuos will cover themselves by adding an assist to the mix, but hopefully knowing this info, it'll help you with your defense versus it. Next we have Ekko's forward S1, aka Temporal Slip, or... This move has 3 hits. The first 2 will be on the same side, and the third hit is a mid-attack that hits from behind. In other words, another cross-up. So if the Ekko starts from the player 2 side or the right side, you'll have to hold left twice, and then switch right on the third. In the corner, all 3 attacks hit the same side, so you can just block in one direction. This move is very punishable after blocking the attack, assuming they don't use an assist. So you can definitely jab after it into a devastating combo. That's super punishable. Take a break! Alternatively, you can standing jab after the first 2 hits, and that will interrupt him midstream. Nah, I've left it! On slower champions like Braum and Illaoi, the timing will be tighter because their jabs are slower than champions like Ekko, Ahri, and Yasuo. Another way to get around it is the retreating guard on the second of the 3 hits. This will cause him to always land on the same side he started it from, so you don't have to deal with the cross-ups. It'll also help you deal with mix-ups like this.
Man, grab that. We're cooking! Bombos?
Bravos. Number 3. Ekko's Aerial Timewinder, or Jumping S1. When Ekkos are trying to create space in zone, they tend to do a lot of this. At first glance, it seems pretty safe, but in reality he can't actually do anything until after he lands on the ground. If you think that he's going to do that, then you can opt to dash underneath him and catch him with an anti-air or a grounded attack. Some champions are very slow or big, so unless the Ekko is doing it point blank, running underneath might not be an option. But that's okay, you can always just run and parry the Timewinder and then punish. And if you're Braum, you can just react to him doing so and charge S2, because that just eats projectiles.
Hey! Squishy as fuck!
Ahri's Foxfire, or S1 to S1. If you find that Ahri is always spamming a bunch of abilities and you just notice that she flies towards you after shooting a projectile, chances are she might be spamming her S1. Don't let her do that. If she is, there's actually a gap between the 2 attacks, so if you block the first hit, which looks like this, you can interrupt her mid-flight with an attack. I personally just jab it with Braum, but keep in mind the timing of it depends on how far away she is from you. So this is something you might want to practice against first before entering a tournament. But if you do keep stopping her, she'll be forced to stop after her first S1, leaving you with opportunities to advance versus her. Number 5. Darius's Decimate, or his S2 to S2. Chances are you're going to find someone who's spamming this. I know this because my 30-minute Darius does the same exact thing. The reason why this move is so strong in concept is because it is a move that covers a very large part of the screen, and similar to his Q in League, the end of the axe is stronger. In 2x KO, it applies bleed, even if you block it. And bleed is a Darius specific property that causes you to take a lot of ship damage until you can hit him again. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. The fact that some people have lab touch of death block strings, it is not something you can take lightly. With this attack, you'll most likely have to learn how to parry. So go into training mode with the lead opponent as Darius, go to bot settings, and check block settings to always. Next, click recording settings and then click recording slot 1. The moment you do that, you'll take control of the enemy Darius. Then jump, and when he lands, mash S2 to S2 as fast as you can. After the second hit, press start again. Then go down to recording slot 2, press it, then jump, and when he lands, press S2. Before the second S2, delay it by like a second, and then press start. Lastly, go down to recording slot 3, press it, jump, and then press S2 once, and then press start again. Now scroll up to the recording settings and then set this to playback, and make sure the playback mode is looping. What you just did is make a minigame for practice. When you leave the menu, Darius is going to randomly play any of the recorded slots, which would be S2 to S2, S2 to delayed S2, and just S2. And now you're going to try to parry the second hit on reaction. The reason why there are 3 different versions is because Darius can always hold the delay or not do the second S2 if he thinks that you'll try to parry. And if you whiff the parry, you lose an entire meter and he can punish you with a combo. This will help you parry on reaction rather than parry by habit. Also, when you parry, make sure that you dash after. Since you'll most likely have to dash after it in order to punish from a distance, it's good to get into the habit. Another reason is because if you miss time or just mash the parry, then you won't be able to dash after, leaving you with wasted meter and no punish. But if you do perfect parry, then you get a lot out of it. Lastly, if you fight against the Darius that is just mashing S2 and S2, as Braum you can just shield the first hit and standing medium punch the second S2. Even if he doesn't follow up, shield is a pretty good option. Number 6. Darius Apprehend, or S1. This attack is another huge problem for people right now. Apprehend, like in League, is where Darius pulls you in. This time, he does one of 3 follow-ups. His light follow-up does a headbutt that is an overhead. That means you have to block standing or else you'll get hit. His medium follow-up does a quick swipe that applies bleed. And his heavy follow-up is a command grab, which is different from a regular grab as you cannot tech it, you have to jump. The reason why this is so strong is because even if you block the pull, you're put into a 50-50 situation. If he thinks that you'll block, he'll command grab. If he thinks you'll try to jump to avoid the grab, he'll attack. Typically, it is probably better to take the command grab because usually people will just do that grab and nothing else besides maybe a super, making it the lesser of 2 evils in terms of damage. This is not always the case, by the way. There are ways that he can do a ton of damage with it. The key here is to figure out when he'll use it. In this current stage, not a lot of casual players are punishing this move, so the Darius players are pretty comfortable with mindlessly doing the same block string or a series of attacks. A common block string that I tend to see is light, medium, heavy to a special move. So what I personally look for is the heavy attack, which looks like this, and then we see what we do after. A common follow-up will be S2 to S2 or to S1. If you see them do S2, you already know how to respond. If you see them do the S1, here's a few things that you can do. 1, you can parry the S1. Pretty straightforward, you get a lot of good punish from it. Number 2, in my opinion, the safest option is that you can hold back and up during the block string. When he tries to pull you in, it'll cause you to jump back and block. If he attacks with light or medium, then you block it and reset to neutral. And if he does the command grab, it'll whiff entirely and you get a full punish. The other great thing about this is that if you do the strat versus his block string into his S2, you actually block that properly too, and then you can just react and parry if he does the follow-up. This option does get beat if he reads this and does his low attack instead of the pull, but you can counter that too. All you have to do is hold down back for a little bit and then hold back up. This effectively beats both of these options. Number 3. If you're Braum, you can just press shield on the S1 and then immediately command grab afterward. Nah dude, stop it! Stop it! Jabbing also works too. And number 4, I'm not a theory crafter by any means, but I did find that if he does get the S1 on block, then as a last resort, if you think he's not going to command grab, then you can mash assist and then he'll headbutt your partner. But because the hip stop is so big, you can just punish him after. And if he does the bleed follow-up, your partner won't come out. Obviously, this loses the command grab though, and having your partner vulnerable on the screen is sort of a big no-no in tag team games, so I'd probably only do this for the hard I wanna flex read. Darius's Trifarian tactics, or jump S2. Okay, I'm just putting this in here because I've played some matches where I do this raw without an assist, and there were a few times when I wasn't punished. You have about a year to punish this, so please punish this with literally anything. Braum's Battering ram, or his S2 to S2. I've seen a lot of Braums use this. The first hit of this is very unsafe on block, so you can punish that easily. But I've seen Braum try to do that follow-up attack, which is safe, or I mean, it's technically instant safe on block because it's -6, but the moves that are 6 frames or less are too short to hit him, so yeah, it's safe. Anyways, there's a gap in between the two attacks, so you could jab it. Number 9, Braum's Unbreakable. If Braum lands a combo against you or he does his down S2, he gets a status called Unbreakable. When he has Unbreakable, any attack involving his shield will get a hit armor, as well as different properties like more damage or different attacks. So if you try to challenge him, he'll probably beat you. And if he gets tagged out, he still has Unbreakable. This makes him even scarier, as his shield assist, which normally grants 1 hit of armor, now grants 2. And his Battering ram assist actually wall bounces now. But you can challenge it. First of all, you can remove his buff by hard knocking him down. If you throw him down or finish a combo with a hard knockdown, he'll lose it. But how do you combo him if he armors through everything? Here's a few ways. 1, if you can hit him with 2 fast attacks, that'll break his armor. He only gets 1 hit, so any additional attack will break his stance. Number 2, if you have 2 meters, you can opt to do your level 2 super. This just beats it.
Let's go!
Oh, let's go!
Let's go!
Oh my god!
Supers,
And 3, some charged attacks beat it. I'll just say normal ones like heavy attack, because it certainly doesn't work with, say, for example, Braum's charged S2. And yeah, and again, you can just throw him out of it. Faith in Motion, or Illaoi's Jump S2. Our last attack on today's list is Illaoi's Jumping S2. It can be used high or low to the ground, potentially hitting twice as well. Oh, and it can cross up. It is a little scary because she can completely change her trajectory of her jump by using it, making it a little awkward to consistently anti-air. You can anti-air though, so if it works for you, then yeah, keep doing it. If you do block it though, she is very unsafe. The problem is that she spawns a tentacle in front of her where she lands. If you try to mash jab or some fast attack after blocking the JS2, the tentacle will most likely interrupt it. But if you delay the attack a little bit, you can avoid the interruption while still being in a punish window. Or you can just mash heavy attack. It works on every champion. And also if she crosses up, then you can just mash whatever because the tentacle won't even be near you. There's a catch though. In the corner, it's a little different because the tentacle spawns directly under you and it hits you, interrupting any normal attack for sure. So instead, what you could do is just standing parry right after she hits you on block and then punish with whatever. And yeah, that was 10 attacks that I've gone over. Let me know if this helped at all, and if you're interested in more gaming content, especially 2x KO, please consider subscribing. In any case, I'll probably see you in the casual lobbies for the next couple of days. Bye!